what's going on here, Raider Nation? What's up? What's up? What's up? So, if we could jump on tonight while the game's going on, see if anybody wants to jump on. So, what? What? Sorry. See if anybody wants to jump on. Stop from talking in the chat. You know, the Rams are playing the Vikings right now. They're playing in Arizona. LA's up 7-0 already. 9 minutes to go in the first quarter. I'm doing it on a different system tonight, so I don't have all the little fringe benefits I normally have tonight. So this is just the extreme basic setup tonight, but I can still pull people in live to the show if anybody wants to come on. You know, I can pull up to at least 6 people in here if need be, if anybody wants to come in and chit chat and all that other happy stuff. But so I put out a short today. What's up, Rundown? How you doing, brother? How you doing? I put out a short today on YouTube. It just kind of hit me today about the Raiders coming here to play the Patriots this coming season. And, you know, we're seriously thinking about, you know, when that's going to be, what time of year, and you know, the game itself. What's up, Arnie? How you doing, brother? Thanks for stopping in. It hit me now. The Raiders are coming here to play New England. Brady played for New England. Brady's now part owner of our team. I'm thinking the NFL and the Patriots, especially, and the local media, especially the local media, but even the national media, like, you know, ESPN, NFL Network, they're going to make a big deal of this if you think about it now, because we haven't played them since he's been even thought about being involved with this team. But now that we're coming here, so it's kind of like a Brady return to New England. I have a feeling this game could be a primetime game, even though the teams of both could still be kind of shitty and crappy. There's a good chance that this could either be a primetime Sunday night, Monday night game, or a prime video Thursday night game. You know, if at the least, it's going to be, you know, a nationally televised game. It could even be a 4:00 game on a Sunday too. So, I mean, that's going to be kind of interesting. That's going to add a little different twist to this. I kind of hope I wouldn't mind a primetime game, to be honest with you. I think it's going to be interesting. I think the hype on this is going to be potentially be pretty damn big. Now, my other thought process on this is, if Brady if he stays with his TV contract, unless the game is on Fox, which I highly doubt it would be, especially if it's going to be a primetime game. So he'll be busy doing whatever game he's scheduled to do that weekend. So he won't even really be there. But if this really can become a media spectacle, and him being there as like an owner in the stands, you know, with Mark Davis and everybody else, that would be kind of interesting. You know, does he stay with the, you know, does he not worry about fulfilling that contract and really be more involved with the team? Because right now his involvement is kind of limited. He can't really be in the locker room. He can't be at practices. He can't have personal, contact with the players, supposedly. For the same reason why when he goes and does pregame stuff, he can't really sit down in these interviews with these guys that are going to be playing that in that game that he's going to be doing, because it's kind of considered, I guess, a conflict of interest, or, you know, that there's so many different parameters with this. So I know the local media is going to make a big deal out of it for sure. The local sports guys, which is actually going to kind of be I think a big thing for us in the Booster Club, because I'm going to reach out to these news stations when we get close to that time frame, and I'm going to I'm going to push to, you know, see if we can get, like, whenever we do a pregame party or the tailgate, I'm going to push to see if we can get at least 1 or 2 of the local news stations to show up. You know, just another reason to, you know, get the Booster Club name out there, especially in the New England region. You know, there could be a lot of good coming out of this potentially too. So this is going to be interesting. Excuse me. So I'm kind of looking forward to it now even more, you know, as to what this really could be. Let me just whip through these chats real quick. Thanks, Rundown. I appreciate you, brother. Let's see. Pick one: Ben Johnson or Pete Carroll to rebuild our team with Tom Brady in charge. I'm fine with either one of them, to be honest with you. At this point, I, I don't think it's a loss, a losing situation with either one. If you're looking for the coach to be here super long term and be successful for years to come, then obviously Ben Johnson. Pete Carroll, how long is he going to be here for? Is he going to have a successor already set up? I mean, Pete Carroll comes from a winning culture and development. Rundown was talking about this a couple hours ago. I was in my car listening as I was driving, and I agree. I mean, if and I posted something in the chat in the show saying that Pete Carroll comes from, he's got results rebuilding a team, because I mean Seattle was mid at best on quality of a team prior to him taking over. Um, he turned them into one hell of a team, and they're still relevant. They're still fairly relevant. They were still on the cusp of making the playoffs again this year, and this was the first year without him. So there is an upside to him coming in there and taking over the Raider organization as the coach, just because he's built a winning culture before. I mean, I'm on board. I'm on board with Ben Johnson too, because it's a youth movement now too. We got a young team. Not to saying Pete Carroll's unrelatable to young players, because he definitely is. There's no two ways about it. I mean, you've seen it in Seattle. He can handle being around young players. I mean, Jesus Christ, he was a head coach. He was a coach in college ranks, dealing with kids fresh out of high school. So I'm fine with either one. But like I said, it depends on what you're really looking out of this. Yeah, okay. Yeah, good. See you later, buddy. Let's do it. If it looks like he gets, yeah, okay, whatever. Yeah. They're fucking assholes already out there, huh? Because if I get into going on in the world, idiots distracted by fixed games. I have no idea who you are. I don't want the Patriot way, only the Brady way. Please don't hire from Belichick. You're not going to get anybody from the Belichick tree. Pete Carroll was a coach for the Patriots, but that was even before Bill Parcells. So, and it was horrible. He wasn't ready at that point to be a head coach in the NFL. Is what it really came down to. And he left the NFL after that, went to the college ranks, and was extremely successful in the college. I mean, look what he did in USC. And obviously then, turned it around in Seattle. Rundown is a genius. The word for Raider Nation. I'll tell you what, for a young fan, and I think that's because his dad raised him right as a Raiders fan, and taught him the history of the team, because he's knowledgeable about the team and the going-ons of what's going on currently and in the past. I agree with a lot of what he talks about, and he makes a lot of sense. Some people don't feel that way, I'm sure. Just like some people don't agree with some of the shit I say too. And I don't really care. It's my opinion. It's my thought process, and that's the way I look at it. But I respect other people's opinions, whether I agree with them or not. And I think Rundown show today, I listened to it for the full hour and interacted when I could. Again, I actually pulled over in a parking lot and typed that thing about Carroll and his history with Seattle, because I'm like, I got to say this. I agree with him. See, I believe we need a new era of creative coaches, no more retreads or recycled coaches. Yeah, I mean, some people might sit there and say that about Pete Carroll being a retread. Yeah, okay, so he's a former head coach in the NFL. I mean, he's only been removed 1 year from the game, but he was still associated with the Seattle Seahawks, so he's still relevant. I don't like some of the retreads. I understand that, but Pete Carroll, I don't look at him that way. What I consider like a retread is like when they try and do something with like McDaniels again, shit like that. He failed miserably the first time. Why would anybody give him another chance? So I am him. That's who I am. I am him. What is it with these idiots coming in tonight, man? Let's get rid of this one. No, see you later. Get rid of this one. This little kitty's coming in here and starting shit. Let's see. So where are we at here in this game? We're at 4 minutes, 47 seconds left in the first quarter. Rams are still up 7-0, and they're on the Vikings 20-yard line, 22-yard line. So this is, I mean, if the Rams score again, I mean, Vikings are going to have a hard time coming back from this, especially if they play like they did last week. I mean, as high scoring as an offense as they were all year last, during the season, they only put up 9 points last week, 3 field goals. I mean, good God. I'm going for a field goal here. I'm sure he's going to nail this with no problem. Yep, 10-0 now. So it's weird too because they're playing in Arizona. So I was saying this earlier too. I'm curious to see what I haven't seen the stands yet. What type of fan base is there? Because it is a Rams home game. At least if they were playing in LA, they're going to be mostly Rams fans in the stadium. I mean, there would still be some Vikings fans. I'm curious to see how many Rams fans made the trip from LA to there. Knowing that originally they didn't have to travel for the game because the game was going to be at home for them. Minnesota, everybody knew days in advance that the game was going to be played in Arizona. So if anybody that was planning on coming down, going to LA for the game, it's just a matter of them switching flights, to make it to Arizona for the game. So I'll be curious to see what the majority of fans are in the stadium, with them playing on neutral site. Somebody mentioned something last night too. We should have played the game at Allegiant Vegas. I mean, they could have. It's a little bit more centrally located, I guess, between the two teams. But I don't know. I mean, it's all a money thing. But although, it's a chance for Mark Davis to make money, just think of the money alone in concessions he would make. Let's see, Jeff, our longtime Raiders fan, been through highs and lows last 20 years. We're all lows, yeah, that's for sure. What is Pete Carroll's successor plan? Salarez is DC. I mean, who knows at this point what he would bring in? We'd have to wait and see. What's up, OC Nation? How you doing, brother? We'd have to wait and see what, until he's here. And, I mean, you kind of got an idea on what he would do based on his past history. And he's definitely a defensive minded type coach. I mean, you look at the teams he had in Seattle. He had some of the best defenses in the league during his tenure there. So the defense is definitely going to be taken care of, hopefully. Now, whether we keep everybody that's there now, well, not keep everybody, but whether we sign as many as possible, or if we just go in with the intent that whoever comes in as a coach, whether it be Pete Carroll or Ben Johnson, they do a complete clean house of everybody that's a free agent. They're going to have to go through. They're going to have to interview every single player that's currently on the roster or a free agent to make a decision what they want to do with these players. Because some players are going to get cut. I'm telling you right now, this roster is going to get chopped up big time. There's going to be a lot of players that are going to end up just being cut outright. I mean, I could already name 3, at least 2 right now, maybe 3 or 4 that could get cut immediately. Not immediately, or at least as soon as they're not going to take that, where they're going to be the least damage on the cap for us. Minshew is going to be one of them. Ritter's probably going to be the other one. Zamir White is probably going to be another one also. Parham's a possibility. Andre James could be a possibility unless he wants to really keep him for depth. I mean, there's a lot of players that could just fall by the wayside. And there's going to be a lot that are free agents that we're just not going to want to re-sign. And I get it. I totally understand why we would want to re-sign some of these guys. Because some of them just, aren't worth keeping, basically. There's no sense in keeping them. Let's see. What we got here? Barney. What do you think of Ben Johnson, head coach, Champ Kelly, as GM, Hendon Hooker, QB, Najee Harris running back, Godwin is wide receiver, Brock Bowers my tight end. Bowers and Mayer tight end. Solid DC. What do you think? It's not bad. I still think O'Connell's going to be the quarterback for next year, unless by some miracle, we do something completely you know, off the reservation for, what we would normally do, meaning, we got to move around the draft board. Again, we won't know any of this until a head coach is picked and the GM is picked. Because until then, we're not going to know what's going on with either one of them. We need to know what their tendencies are, what they're used to, what their thought process is. Henanoka, not that I wouldn't take him. I would be fine with him coming in. Champ Kelly is the GM. Again, that's another dark horse. What we're going to do there with the GM. I don't know. And I stated this last night when I was on with Turf during the watch party last night's game. I don't know enough about GMs to really give my opinion on this guy's good, we should get him, or this guy's good, we should get him. The only ones I really know of, and it's only been the last couple of days, is I've heard Agnew's name picked around, so I looked him up, so I'm familiar with him. I know he comes from the Detroit bloodline there. He obviously had something to do with what they built in Detroit, so he's had success at that. And the other one I heard of was Spy Tech from Tampa Bay, and he was instrumental in getting Brady there. He's known Brady for a long time. I believe they were college roommates, or they played. They were on the team together, or something along that line. But he's what helped build that team prior to Brady coming in, because Brady was like the final piece of the puzzle he needed to get them relevant, to get them to where they needed to be to win the Super Bowl. So Brady's got a relationship with him. So there's a good chance you could see somebody like him. He's an assistant GM in Tampa. Those are like the only two that I really know about. I mean, obviously I know about Telesco, and I knew about Telesco before he came in. Other than that, knowing what GMs are and what their capabilities are, I'd have to look up guys and really read up on them to even fully understand or even have a strong comment on who would be good and who wouldn't. I just know the two that I've heard, and I've researched them, so I've got at least some talking points on names that are popular right now that come up. So I don't feel strong enough in really addressing the GM situation, because it actually came up last night on the show, and I just kind of I added a couple of little points, but nothing major that would make someone go, "Oh yeah, he's right. Let's go for him." I just don't know enough. I would definitely be fine with Solid as a defensive coordinator. Hell yeah. Let's see, how many years do you give Pete? 3 years, or and he'll be in his 80s. I really hope we get Ben Johnson. Yeah, I mean, Pete Carroll, if he is the one that we hire, yeah, you're probably looking at anywhere no more than 4 years, I'm sure. So do we just sign him to a 3-year contract if we want to hire him? But part of that contract, whoever he brings in is one of his on his coaching staff that he knows would be able to handle taking over and keeping his philosophy going, to keep that culture going the way that he's going to build it in his 3 years. That's a possibility too, just like New England did with Mayo, but then they realized that he really wasn't the right choice for them. They gave him that 1 year and then they shit canned him. He could do the same thing here. And I believe if it's in his contract or whatever, they can kind of skirt around the Rooney Rule by doing that. I'm surprised more teams haven't done that, because that's what the Patriots did. When Belichick was let go, they didn't have to worry about going through the whole coaching search. Mayo just took over immediately. After yesterday's Commanders game, thinking of Telesco not signing Kingsbury and trying to move up for Jaden Daniels sucks. Again, it's not like we didn't try to move up for him. The asking price was just, we would have wasted, we would have had to give up too much to get him. But to be honest with you, I don't think Washington was probably just putting feelers out there for, going ridiculous on the asking price and just hopefully that somebody would bite. But I can tell you right now that I honestly do not think Washington would have even jumped at whatever was offered to them. And it's proof that they didn't, because I'm sure they got other offers other than us. Do I wish we were able to do it? Hell yeah, I do. But did I want to give up our future draft and our current draft, the 2024 draft picks, and then whatever we were going to have to give up in this coming draft and possibly beyond that? No, because now you handcuff us at that point because how are we going to rebuild or not rebuild, but how are we going to add other pieces to the puzzle to help go along with him if we can't pull him off in free agency too? So that really would have altered what we could have done going forward. Because you not only have to think about what we're going to do immediately to impact this team, but you got to think about the future. So if we're handcuffed for the next 2 or 3 drafts and we can't say we give up first round picks for 2 or 3 years, if we can't get a first round pick for the next 2 or 3 years, then we're doing some serious scrambling to try and trade to get back into the first round, late part of the first round. And again, now we're giving up even more picks to do this. So it would take us years to dig back out of that hole of not being able to have access to these kids coming out of college that's going to be able to help the team. So again, I would have loved to have had Jaden Daniels, but I don't think it was going to happen. It was just not feasible. If that was the only, let's put it this way, if that was the only piece that we needed was a quarterback, and we had a solid offensive line, we had wide receivers, our defense was top notch. We were like in a top 5 defense where you get that quarterback and he can just push us over the edge. The running game's good. We didn't have that. We didn't have the stable offensive line. The defense was okay. They could have possibly done some damage, but we had no running game. None of our running backs panned out. McCormick was the only one that was starting to pan out, and then he got hurt. At that time, no one knew Brock Bowers was going to do what he was going to do. When we were at that, we wouldn't have Brock Bowers. I can tell you that right now, because we wouldn't have had that 13th pick. So Brock Bowers wouldn't be on this team as what we just saw this past season. So he'd be out. So you wouldn't have him to catch the ball out there. So now you'd have to rely on Davante Adams. Would that have kept Davante here? Yeah, because he probably would have been getting the ball enough to shut him up and not be a diva. Jacoby Myers would have caught. Michael Mayer he went through his issue this season, so we really wouldn't have even had a tight end. We would have had a tight end, but it would have been like a third string tight end. Well, I mean, based on this year, it would have been third string, but without Bowers, he would be our second string. So there's so many different things. People think that if we would have drafted Jaden Daniels, we would have been fine. No, we wouldn't have, because we would have given up too many draft picks to get him and not be able to fill the needs of the holes that we had. Because with our offensive line, we would have gotten him killed back there. We would have destroyed that kid. It wouldn't have been a good situation. We need to re-sign Spillane and Mooring, Chase on, in my opinion. I agree. I don't know about Mooring. I'm 50-50 on Spillane and Chase on for sure. But I think we're going to have to wait and see where Patrick Graham ends up. Because we're going to lose players. Players will follow a coach, especially a guy like Patrick Graham. Players liked him. They liked playing for him. So we'll see where that takes us. Mark Davis wants Shador at number 2 pick. Now Telesco's gone. They will trade up. Give up draft capital or players under contract. I would be extremely disappointed, because that means, again, we're giving up draft picks for a guy that's, number one, not even going to start this coming season. He's going to sit the bench. He really would have no sense in starting him. It's a waste of a pick, and it's a waste of multiple picks, because we'd have to give up more than just our first round pick. We're not gonna go to Cleveland and go, hey, we'll give you our number 6. We'll take your second and call it a day. No, they're gonna want more, as would we. If somebody wanted to say the Cowboys wanted to move up to number 6 because they want to take Genti, well, we'll swap first round picks, but because you're moving up to our pick, we know you want somebody, then we want somebody from your roster. Like I said last night, first option is you give us Michael Parsons and we swap picks. They say no, they say, all right, then we'll take CeeDee Lamb. If they say no to that, then we're sticking with pick number 6. We're taking who we want to take. Good luck getting Genti at number 12, or unless you can trade with somebody else. That's it. You can't play nice guy. This is a cutthroat business. This isn't fantasy football where I can offer up, ridiculous talent that's not worth it for, say like back when Marshall Faulk was relevant. You're not going to take Marshall Faulk and trade him away for Terry Glenn and I don't know, just name another scrub wide receiver. You're not going to do that, because Marshall Faulk's too valuable. Just like a draft pick is too valuable. So you're not just going to swap draft picks. There's so much more into it. Raiders, still a Vikings fan. Hope the Vikings win the Rams game. This is going to be a good game. I mean, it definitely is. I mean, we're at 10. It's 10-3 LA right now. We're in the second quarter. We're at just about 14 minutes, 17 seconds left in the second. Rams just got the ball. It's an interesting game for sure. I mean, especially because I still haven't watched the stands to see who's got the majority of fans there, because this is more like a neutral site. It's an away game for both teams at this point. Even though the Rams are the home team. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I wouldn't mind seeing a rematch from last week between Detroit and Minnesota. I don't know how the seedings would work. I haven't looked in, like, if the Rams win, who do they play, and such as vice versa. You're a Vikings fan. That looks good for you right now. They sacked Stafford, and he dropped the ball. But I don't know what the call is here. If they're calling him down, or I don't have the volume on, because if I had the volume on and they can hear it on the live, might get flagged for it. So, oh no, that ball was out of his hand before he went down. So that's that. So that's definitely going to be a fumble, unless they call some bullshit false call of crap. Hang on, I want to see what this call is before I go on. Oh, nope, they're giving it to Minnesota. Touchdown, Minnesota. All right. So, depending on the extra point here, it's either going to be a tie game at 10-10, or it's going to be 11-10, or they miss and it's 9-10. So let's see. The difference between Pete Carroll and Ben Johnson is Johnson has his own scheme. Pete relies on someone else's scheme to be successful in Seattle. They wanted a new creative young coach after Pete. Yeah, I mean, I get it. I mean, granted, like I said, if we're looking longevity here and you want to sustain, continuity and, building a culture and sticking with that culture, the only way to do that is you're going to stick with one coach and one coach only for the next, however many years. Whereas with Pete Carroll, what's he going to come in here? 3 or 4 years at the most? I don't see him going beyond 3 to 4 years. And it's not so much just the age thing. It just might be where he gets to the point. It's like, I just want to enjoy the rest of my life with my family and, not be in this grind of being an NFL head coach. Being a head coach in the NFL especially is an extremely stressful job, and it's a lot of hours, and it's a lot of hours away from home, because they're at the facility first thing in the morning. Some of these guys go in the gym and work out with the players too, and then there are meetings after meetings after meetings, and, planning what they want to do for the upcoming game, who's injured, it's a lot. It's not just a matter of showing up saying, well, we're going to run plan, we're going to run play 1, number A, B, 3, 2, it's not that. There's just so much involved. Some people understand that, but you'd be surprised at how many people don't really understand what it takes to be a head coach in the NFL. I'm not saying I know everything about it, because I'm not an NFL head coach, but if you watch enough like Hard Knocks and documentaries and listen to these coaches when they talk, they explain their schedule, and it's ridiculous. I mean, I've heard of coaches not even going home and just sleeping on the couch in their office, or literally sleeping in their car in some cases and not even going home. They wake up the next morning, go inside, work out, take a shower, and their day's on the roll again. And then, some of these guys are pulling 15, 16-hour days during the season. During the off season, it's not as hectic, but they're still working every day. That brain's still ticking even when they're not there. You know. What happened? I looked away for 2 seconds and they took it back. They took back the TD incomplete pass. How did they roll out an incomplete pass? What the fuck? All right, well, whatever. It is what it is, I guess. I don't have the volume on, so I can't hear exactly what they're saying. If Connor and T Mac are there at number 6, will you trade picks to Cowboys for first, second this year? If they don't call us before I pick and one of those two guys are there, I'm taking the guy. I'm taking taking Carter or McMillan. I'm not letting either one of them get by. Absolutely not. You know, if they call us ahead of time and say Carter's going already, then I would seriously consider it. But yeah, I would want to. I would take a first and a second this year. But I still rather have a player. You know, whether they let that player go in the trade or not, that's one thing. But I definitely would take a player. So they took back the TD out there. So it's still 10-9, 10-3 Rams. NFL is BS at the very least. It's in the great. Yeah, I mean it is. It's up fair rate. How you doing, brother? I mean, you see it. I mean, just all you got to do is watch a Chiefs game, and you see the bullshit that goes on with Chiefs games. How they they're so lax on people coming, doing what they're doing as far as not so much lax, but they don't call the same penalties on them as they would on say us. I mean, they call everything on us when we play, especially when we play the Chiefs. Doesn't help the fact that Mahomes cries about everything. He's definitely like the new Tom Brady because anybody that watched Tom Brady when he was playing, that's all he did after a play was he always get up crying, like, screaming at the refs, like, why did you let him do that to me? So, let's see. So, we get two. Yeah, so that means we got Arnie and Fair Raider, I guess. It's a slow night tonight. I would have thought more people would have been on tonight. There's really nobody else on right now at this point. I figured to jump on for a little bit. I know Leo and Jonah go on at 10 o'clock Eastern time, so another hour. That's why I jumped on this version of StreamYard I have. Let's see. I appreciate you guys being here. I really do. In your mind, who was our MVP on our defense all season? I mean, it's got to be Max. I mean, it's kind of hard to say anyone else, to be honest with you. I'm going to turn the camera a little bit comfortable. I would have to say Max. I mean, after Max, more than likely, like Spillane would be my thought on that. Spillane, Chase on defense. Yeah, it's one of those three guys. So we're at 10-3. We're at 13 minutes and 25 seconds to go in the first half. Minnesota's got the ball at their own 40. 6 yard, 7 yard pickup on that play. It just sucks that we can't watch our own team play in the playoffs. That we're having to sit here and watch other teams play. It's been a long time since I've seen us actually, play in the playoffs and actually have success and win in the playoffs. It's been way too long. Way too long. Like I said before, our booster club's been around for 20 years, and we haven't really been able to get together as a club and watch playoffs together. It's kind of disheartening. So I know yesterday I talked about it when I was on during the day yesterday when I did a little quick 1 hour show. Anybody that's been looking to get any type of booster club merchandise, we will be putting up an online store soon. been working with the supplier that does all our merchandise. I got to get together with them and finalize some more details. But hopefully, I'm hoping at the latest by the end of this month we get it up and running. I'd like to have it up and running even before that. So the good thing is we've got a bunch of inventory that's on hand right now to sit down and my wife's SUV. So we'll throw most of that stuff on the store as soon as we get it up. But once we get it up, I'll have all the links for everything. Anyone that's seen our logo, if you haven't, this is where is it? That's the logo. It's tough to see right now, but that's the logo on the merchandise, our hats, our shirts, everything. So it'd be nice to get that set up because that'll be available anywhere in the U.S. So I believe it'll be able to be anybody that's in Mexico will be able to get it too. International, the shipping might be a little different, but I know the shipping in the U.S. is going to be pretty much a flat rate. Won't make a difference. Good, Vikings 3-0. That sounds familiar. Man, I've been having some super busy shows lately. I don't know where everybody is tonight. It's awfully quiet. I didn't think it was going to be this quiet, especially with a football game going on. Who else is on right now? That could be a problem. Let's see. Who is on? Yeah, well, Tom Grossi, but it really has no impact on us. People that watch him, I mean, he gets like 8,000 people in his chat. The one named Rich Cannon, last player for an interview. Yep, pretty much. We haven't done shit since then. So, Ani, we're going back to like 2002, 2003. So, yeah, it's been over 20 years. It's been over 20 years since we've won in the playoffs. And it's been over 40-something years since we won a Super Bowl. What the hell happened? They do a rough one. Oh, yep, that's why. All right, see, I looked away. Didn't even see that happen. So, roughing the punter. So, automatic first down. Awesome. I was wondering why they had the ball back again. Like, what the hell? Yeah, if you see me turn my head this way, the way I'm facing right now, is because my TV's set off right to my right. But the chat, like my camera's over here, but the chat is a little bit off to my right, and it's bigger, so it's easier for me to see. I'm working off my laptop. The print over here on the side of the camera is too small. It's too far away. So at least with my big 24-inch monitor right here, I can at least see the wording a little bit easier. So, Arnie, who are you picking to win this game? You got Minnesota or you got the Rams? I know we're well into the game already, so I mean, are you glad that Gruden and Coach Prime out? Oh, hell yeah! I don't want either one of them. Absolutely not. I'm not ready for a third go around with Gruden. Don't trust him. Don't want him. Prime, I didn't want anything to do with him because of the media circus that comes with him. It's accepted by the Rams. Rams got the ball back. 10 minutes to go in the first half. Comes up 10-3. Yeah, I mean, I respect Prime as a player and as a college coach. Like, I never had a problem with Dion when he was playing in the NFL. Absolutely not. I thought he was great. Do I want him as an NFL coach of our team? I don't care if he goes and coaches somebody else. That has no bearing on us. I could give two shits. I just don't want him here with us. And like I said, it's the media circus that comes with it. I don't want to have to deal with that. Because think about it. If he's here and his kid's here and suddenly his kid starts stinking it up, the media's going to be in his face. What type of response is he going to give? Is it going to be a calm, cool, and collective response, or is he going to fire off at the media? It's too much of a sideshow. I know for years, people want to see us. Like, whenever you watch like Sports Center or NFL Network, like Good Morning Football, I watch them every morning. Um, I like it when they start talking about us because we're in the news, and usually it hasn't been great news. But now with the way things are looking going forward, we're going to be back in the news again, or we're going to be relevant. But it's going to be for good reasons. It's going to be because we're making the right decisions. We're moving forward. Um, we're bringing in a coach that's going to help us. We've got a part owner that's heavily involved in making decisions that's popular with everybody. So it's like we'll be starting to get in the news for the good, not for the pain and misery and bullshit that this team's put us through for years. That's what I'm looking forward to also. The positivity coming out of training camp, and when they do talks about, when they break down like the AFC West, eventually we're not going to be the laughing stock of that division, at some point, and hopefully some point soon within the next, 2 to 3 years. We're going to have to endure some rough seasons ahead of us, to the point where, there's going to be a learning curve for people that are going to be playing under a new coach, new system, for the players that are staying. We just have to have patience. From here on out, there should not be any more talk about, tanking to get a good pick next draft for the 2026 season, 2026 draft. That should be a non-factor going forward after this. It's time to instill some stability back into this team, back into the coaching staff. The players right now, what players really have confidence that, they're even going to be back next year when they don't even know who the coach is going to be first? So right now, a lot of our own players don't have a lot of confidence in the leadership of the organization right now. They should stop feeling better based on who's been coming in, who's coming in for interviews, that Brady's got his hand on this as far as being involved in the tendencies right now show me that they're moving the right way. Just that hiring of that Jed Hughes as a headhunter to help us locate that head coach and GM and any other coaches that we're going to bring in. That just shows me right there that we're going in the right direction, because we've never done that before. And this isn't some fly-by-night company either. This is an extremely successful company. And this gentleman that's going to be helping, Jed Hughes, if you look at his list of who he's helped get hired, this isn't just, a coach that comes in for a year or two and they get rid of him. These are coaches that have sustained a lengthy tenure with whatever organization they're with currently, because some of them are still with the same team that he got them hired for. And he's had success in basketball too. So it's not just football related, even though his strong suit is football based on his past history between being a coach in the college ranks under Bo Schembechler. He was a coach with the Steelers under Chuck Noll. The guy's got he's a linebacker coach actually with the Steelers during Chuck Noll's tenure there. So the guy's been around great coaches, whether it be the college or the pros. He's learned what a great coach really is and how they operate. So he knows kind of what to look for. And he's been, like I said, extremely successful in that position. So it was the right move. Yeah. What's up, Joseph? Yeah, I agree, brother. No, please, no Prime. That would be a disaster. No Prime, no Gruden, no Belichick. We don't have to worry about any of those. None of those three guys are coming. The Raiders have already said they have no interest in bringing Prime in for an interview, which is fine by me. So you're picking the Rams tonight because they are the real LA team, not the Chargers. Mm-hmm. We're still the real LA team. I'm good with that. Build this roster. We can absolutely see this roster is not good. We have to be realistic. Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt. The fans aren't going to like some of the moves we're probably going to make, but not for nothing. They're going to be the moves that are going to need to be made going forward. If you want this team to get better, you're going to have to deal with it. That's why I say don't get too attached to certain players, especially Max Crosby. Because if the right team calls with the right offer, we'd be foolish not to jump at it. Absolutely. I would trade him in a heartbeat. You offer me 2 first-round picks and maybe a little bit more, Max, I love you. It's been 5 years, but good luck wherever you end up. Because if a team out there thinks that he's the right piece of the puzzle missing for them to hit that next level, next level meaning not just make the playoffs, like next level meaning get to a Super Bowl and potentially win it, they're going to pay whatever price it is. That's what everybody's goal as an owner, as a player, as a coach. Your goal is to make it and win the Super Bowl. So when training camp starts or OTA start and you show up for the first day of practice, it's already instilled in you that this is our main goal. Our goal isn't just to look good out there on the field. Our goal is to build this team to be Super Bowl contenders and win Super Bowls. Plain and simple. Absolutely plain and simple. And if that's what it takes is that one piece like a Max Crosby going to another team to push them over the edge to get them there, a team will pay it. A team will definitely pay it. Reported that Deanna is talking to Jerry about being the head coach. Yeah, fine. You can go to Dallas. See you later. I don't care. I don't want McCarthy either, so I know people have already asked me about that. What about Mike McCarthy? Nope, I'm good. I don't like McCarthy. After Will Howard, 6'3", 220 wins national championship, is he worth the second round pick? I don't know. I don't know enough about him. I still right now, if I was forced to pick a quarterback that wasn't in the first round, I still would be going Jackson Dart. I really would. My first two picks would be Abdul Carter at number 6, and then follow it up in the second round with either the best wide receiver available at that moment or Jackson Dart. In the third round, we got 2 picks. You could nail a running back right there and then go offensive line right there. And then you can still get running backs and wide receivers later on in the draft. You know, because you're going to show your defense up by taking Abdul Carter for sure. It would be amazing if Cowboys get Coach Prime. Yeah, they can have him. No, I don't want him. Your thoughts on Mike McCarthy as head coach? Yeah, I just said that. So I don't want McCarthy. I don't like him. I think he's a shitty coach. Really do. He was great when he was in Green Bay. It's just that here's the problem. Jerry Jones isn't giving him shit to work with. Jerry Jones is. Let's put it this way. Jerry Jones is going to want Ashton Genty. So that just tells me everything you need to know right there. You know, instead of looking at the big picture here and start thinking about, you know, other positions like another defensive top-notch player, you know, maybe another defensive end, another edge rusher to play opposite of Micah Parsons, a better wide receiver to play opposite of CeeDee Lamb, you know, a top tight end that's coming out. You know, Ferguson's a good tight end, but is there something better out there? Possibly. You know, I'm not saying he shouldn't take a running back, but I wouldn't take a running back at pick number 6. Absolutely not. There's more than enough quarterbacks that are capable of doing what this kid did. And I still also feel that he comes with a lot of mileage on him because they ran the living shit out of him at college, and he's going to come in pretty much halfway beaten up. Johnson bring Hooker, and they will draft a QB. I'm fine with that also, too. I don't have a problem bringing Hendon Hooker in. My draft, Carter first, Howard second, Scatterbo third, Trey Harris third. What do you think? Still not sold on Howard. Scatterbo, I think we could possibly sneak him to the 3rd. But again, his draft stock might have gone up. His draft stock might have gone up after that bowl game. And again, I've said this before too. You still got the senior games that these kids are going to play in to, you know, to show their talent one last time in game conditions. You still got the combine, so players will move up and down that draft ranking board between now and the day of the draft. You know, I mean, the thing with Scatterbo, you know, the kid's not a troublemaker. He's not a problem off the field. They vet him a little bit more to make sure there are no hidden issues that are going to come back to haunt the team after the fact. But I just like him because the kid's just pure blood and guts and wants to play and loves football, and he's he gives it his all. Just watch that. Everybody that hasn't seen it play, just go watch that Pro Bowl, the bowl game he played in a couple of weeks ago. That was unbelievable. Furious Facts, love Hooker and Howard AOC as our QE. Yeah, I think by default, AOC 12 would be our starter just by what's in the locker room right now. Or, who's in the quarterback room. Trade Myers. You talking about Mayer, the tight end, or not Jacoby Myers? Jacoby Myers, we don't get rid of. I'm sorry. We're going to need a 1-2 punch at wide receiver. So we just need a bona fide number one wide receiver now. He goes back to being second fiddle to that person. Because if that number one wide receiver is that good and gets double teamed, guess what? Now they still got to contain Brock Bowers and Jacoby Myers. Yeah, you're talking Michael Mayer. Okay. I mean, could we? But again, it's all until we know who's going to be the head coach in the OC. We could end up. All right, we could end up with an OC that likes running a lot of 2 tight end sets. Heavy on blockers. Especially for pass protection. So I mean, I wouldn't get rid of Myers until we know then, or try and trade him away, because I think Myers is a better blocking tight end than Brock is right now. I mean, not to say that Brock can't be, but right now, just based on their overall gameplay, Michael Mayer is definitely the better blocker of the two. Just as Brock Bowers is the better. Vikings just fumbled the ball. Oh, they're gonna call his knee down. His knee's gonna be down. They're not gonna do that. They're not gonna give it up. They're gonna overturn it. It's going to be down by contact. Yeah, just like Brock Bowers is the better pass receiver out of the 2 tight ends. Oh, John, I just realized you just joined now. Sorry, brother. Welcome aboard. Vikings. Yeah, I think that's going to get overturned. I think that's going to go back to the Vikings. His knee was definitely down before that ball really started to move. So next week we get the divisional playoffs. So this is God. I hope the Chiefs lose next week. That's all I ask for. Just please let the Chiefs get knocked out. It's going to be tough though. First round, I probably don't see that happening, but still wouldn't mind it. I absolutely love it, to be honest with you. I think it would be great. Be a beautiful thing. Let's see. Where are we? What happened on Lions during the season? You mean Michael Mayer, the tight end? He was out for personal reasons. Some people were saying mental health issues. And I don't care what it was, if it was mental health or it was other personal issues, medical or whatever. He came back. It took him a couple of games to really get his legs back under him, but he looked fine in my eyes. When he came back, I thought he was fine. I have no problem with him at all. Yeah, he was definitely down. I can't see them giving this ball to the Rams. If they do, I'll be freaking shocked. Yeah. So the refs just said, yeah, his knee was down. So sure as that would have looked like for mine. We still have that tight end we picked up from the Browns. He's pretty good. Oh, yeah. Shit. What the hell's his name? Is it Hooper? No. I'm going to look that up because I am not 100% positive right now. Let's see. Roster. Brock Bowers. Oh, Harrison Bryant. Yeah, Harrison Bryant. That's who it is. Yeah, he's not bad. He really isn't. I mean, he's not a bad tight end. I mean, if we're going to trade Michael Mayer away, yeah, okay. I'm not sure on how Brian is at blocking. If that really has a lot Not about Jesus. He fumbled it anyway. Donald just fumbled, and the Rams are running it back for a touchdown. And he's got that touchdown. Unbelievable. Wow, the Rams, man. I mean, the Vikings. They just. Man, last two games, Donald just looks like trash. So this is the guy everybody wants us to bring in free agency, huh? Okay. So when the game's on the line, your season's on the line. He's already failed twice now for them. He lost them the chance of getting the number one seed by the way he played last week against the Lions, and now he's got severe fumbleitis and just bad bad playmaking here today so far. I know it's not halftime yet, but he just gave up a 6-point turnaround play on that. Dude, the Vikings, even if they make it to the Super Bowl, the Vikings are not going to win. That's the deck is stacked against them. They're already 0-4 in the Super Bowl. They've never won. They're the Buffalo Bills of the early years. They made it to the Super Bowl 4 years in the fairly short time frame, and they didn't win a single one. The one they should have won because it was so damn good was the 76 one against us. Everybody thought for sure they were going to beat us because they were so much better than us. They had such a great defense. They were going to shut us down. We destroyed them. Beat the living piss out of them. So here they are again with a high flying offense. They couldn't get shit going last week. They ain't got shit going again today. I mean, they got lucky they got 3 points already. So here we go again. It's going to be another game where their kick is going to have to, make sure he scores all the points for them. Because sure as hell the offense ain't doing it. Let's see. We still have to take that. Scatterbo is from Rio Linda, California. Sacramento State transferred to Arizona State. Became a dog there. Yeah, didn't you say that he lives near you, Arnie? Was it you that said that, or was that like SoCal Sal or something? I know somebody in the chat the other night said that he's from that area. Rooting for Texans versus Chiefs. Let Taylor cry after the game. Yeah, God, yeah. I want if there's ever a game I want the Texans to just totally destroy somebody, it's this one. They need to go in there and just smack Mahomes around. That would be awesome. Fumble recovery for TD Rams. Yep, beautiful. I love it. Now, if he could only fumble again and let the Rams return it again for another touchdown, it'd be awesome. He's better than any quarterback we have. He's just a rich quarterback. Yeah, but he's not going to come cheap. That's the other problem, though, too, John. He's going to want money based on how he played for the season. Playoffs in the last game of the season, people will overlook that. I won't, because when he needed to win, he couldn't win. He needed to win that last game to get home field advantage, because this game, they wouldn't even be playing right now. They'd be on a bye week. This would be Detroit playing. They could have sent Detroit on the road, but they couldn't get it going. So yeah, he's gonna come. He's gonna want it back. He's gonna want to get paid. Besides, I don't think you're gonna see Minnesota. I mean, they might be second guessing that now, but I don't think you're gonna see Minnesota let him walk. I really don't, because don't forget, yeah, they got JJ McCarthy, but the kid's coming back from a major ACL injury. So how good is he going to come back next year? He's basically still going to be a rookie comes next year, because it's not like he's in the facility, running plays and running around and practicing. He's laid up after ACL. I've had ACL surgery. It's no fun. It takes a while to come back from that. And I'll tell you another thing too. Knee brace or no knee brace after you come back, you're still a little nervous, because I'll tell you, when I snapped mine, I didn't snap mine playing football. I snapped mine at a fire. Crossing the street, it was a sheet of ice, and one foot stayed, the other one went, and I just fell to the side, and my knee just kind of went pop. Instead of the knee bending this way, it bent sideways, and I popped it. It sounds just like popping a cork off a wine bottle or a champagne bottle, just bam. So after I had the ACL surgery done, and I had to have it done twice because I restretched it and retore the ligament 4 months later in April, so I had to get a second surgery, but I had to wait for everything to heal. You're still very hesitant for the first year and a half after the surgery because you're afraid that one wrong move, you're going to snap it again, you know? So how's this kid going to come back? And again, I wasn't out there playing NFL style football. This kid's got to come back and play quarterback in the NFL against, look at the size of the guys on defense. That's what he's got to play against. That's what he's got to try and scramble against, and take a chance of blowing his knee out again. It's scary after you come back from that and you think you're good to go, So there's that uncertainty. And again, I can speak from experience. That's one of the few things I can speak on experience about when it comes to injuries like this with some of these NFL players. I know modern medicine's a lot better now than it was 20 years ago when I had my surgery, but ACL snap is still an ACL snap, no matter which way you put it. It's still a major surgery, and it's still a lot of rehab and a lot of work. Trade our 6th Mayor for number 2 for Shador Sanders. Yeah, no, I'd be pissed. I don't want Sanders. I don't want Ward, and I don't want Sanders, and I don't want us giving up draft picks for either one of them. I don't think they're worth it. Not at all. I think if we do this, we're going to have fucking buyer's remorse. It's not going to be good. Vikings have never been back since people. Yeah, that's what I mean. I mean, that was their best chance to win a Super Bowl. That was their best team at that era. And they 4 losses, just like Buffalo. And he's getting killed. Yeah, Sam Donald, he's getting destroyed back there. The Rams defense isn't any joke either. And this is all without Aaron Donald. Imagine if Aaron Donald came back and still was playing. Forget it. Game over. Now, I know the Rams still wish he was there because guess what? It'd make it a lot easier for them to get back to the Super Bowl. That's for sure. Yeah, it's like he's playing for the Jets again, right? Has he already said that's how much he's looking for, or is that just like people guessing that that's what he's going to look for money? Because if he wants $40 million, I'm sorry. I'm not paying $40 million for a quarterback that's had one good year out of however many he's been in the league, because he hasn't had any other good years other than this one. He finally found the right coach that knows how to use him right, found the right system, the right players around him. Even though last week he couldn't get the ball to Jefferson to save himself, and when he did, he was way off on his throws to Jefferson. So it's like, Jesus. What's this report? It's about Ben Johnson. What's this? All signs to point to Ben Johnson becoming the Raiders' next head coach. Who is it? Raiders reports. I don't know if I trust that. I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer, I think, at this point. There's another one, Death Star report. Like, yeah, they're all pretty much saying it looks like he's the odds-on favorite. No shit, really. Breaking news. Shocker. Of course he is. I'd be more worried if they come out and say that, Mike McCarthy's the odds-on favorite. Fuck you. You like Justin Fields? Well, for sure, I know Getsy was the problem. Yeah, Getsy definitely was the problem. But, I mean, he still got beat out in Pittsburgh, even though he was winning games when he was there. I don't know if I'm sold on Justin Fields either. I really don't. Again, I mean, depends on what type of system and what coach we get. Head coach, offensive coordinator. Would you want Adams back? I would, but I understand the situation. Yeah, I don't think Devontae Adams would be welcome back very much, to be honest with you. For a couple of different reasons. One, the fans would I think most of the fans because you got to remember, when he left, people were not all pissed off that he left. They knew he was kind of being a little bit of a diva there. And a lot of fans that I saw talking about it were ready for him to go. They didn't care. Like myself, that's fine. We're getting a draft pick for him. See you later. Adios. Granted, it's not as high of a draft pick as I wish we would have gotten. But I think, and then the other thing, not only will the fans not be happy, some of the fans not happy about him coming back, I wonder how he'd be received in the locker room, because he basically quit on the team. I mean, the team was already down and out at that point. How fun is that? You come in the locker room and this guy's bitching and moaning and groaning, and they trade him away, and things seem a little bit better in the locker room. You don't have to walk on eggshells. I mean, I think I don't know if he'd be welcome back, to be honest with you. You know, you throw another interception. 2 seconds. What happened here? Oh, we got sacked again. See that Cowgirls fired Mike? Yeah, I think it's hilarious that they fired him. I'm not surprised. I had a feeling that was coming, even though Jerry Jones. See, I don't trust Jerry Jones. If he comes out and says, I want, this guy's safe, that guy's safe, or if somebody says, who you looking at in the draft, who do you want? Um, you know, I don't take too much of what he says to be truth. Not truth, but agree with half the shit he says, because he's going to back up on it. And he already came out and said McCarthy was safe. Said it last week after their game, and now what happened? It's gone. Actually, he said it before the game. Now they get rid of him. Sam O'Donnell from New York Jets. The scheme breeds success, whoever is QB. Oh, Nakua just got hurt. That don't look good. That's going to hurt for them. I feel bad for somebody like Jefferson. I like him. I think he's a great wide receiver, but now he's stuck with a mediocre quarterback now that just can't get out of his own way, and he's just a shitty game last week. He's having a shitty game here, and we're not even at halftime. We've still got a minute left in the first half. They're down 17-3. He's already thrown an interception. He's fumbled for a touchdown return. It's been sacked. I don't even know how many times yet. I haven't even looked that up. It's got to be at least 2 or 3 times he's been sacked. Raiders on my second team. Okay. I mean, I don't have a second team. It's Raiders and nothing for me. But I've said this before. It's not like yesterday. Dollar bills. I was rooting for you guys yesterday. I think everybody in Raider Nation was, because we all hate the Broncos. Just like we were rooting for Houston to beat the Chargers, because we all hate the Chargers. And that's why next week we're going to be Houston Texans fans again, because we want to see the Chiefs lose. That's a tall order. It's a tall task to partake. Them beating KC. Can they? I think they can. I think Houston's defense matches up good against their offense, to the point where they can possibly do some serious damage. I think their defense is better than ours, and we still got 5 sacks on Mahomes in one of those games. We still held their offense to, respectable, not where they came in and blew us away, So I agree. I'm actually, the Bills are my pick to make the Super Bowl. I'm not gonna lie. I picked them in Detroit, is what I'm looking at, is the Super Bowl. And at that point, I don't care who wins out of the two. I'm not going to root for either one of them. All I know is that whoever wins, they're going to be first-time winners, and I think that's a good thing. That's a good thing for the NFL. It's somebody different other than the goddamn Chiefs. And I'm happy for the fan bases, especially if it's Detroit. And Buffalo's been there. You guys had 4 shots in a row back in the 90s, early 90s. Your best chance to win the Super Bowl was the first one you guys went. But I'd like to see Detroit. I don't care who wins out of the two. Again, we're going to see somebody new, somebody that's never won before, now gets to join the rest of us that have already won Super Bowls. So I mean, I wish both teams could win, because I don't have a problem with either team. And by the way, I've been to Buffalo. I've been there for a Raiders game back in 2009, I think it was. It was the day they put Bruce Smith in the Ring of Honor. Actually, where I was sitting in the stadium, his name was on the building, was being put on the building right above where I was sitting. And when they came out to do the ceremony, he came out of the tunnel right in front of us. We were sitting in the end zone. he came out of the tunnel right in front of us, and it was fun. It was cool that day because it was history for me because he was out there, Andre Reed was out there, Jim Kelly, Thurman Thomas, uh, Talley was out there. So all these guys that I watched, in the '80s and into the '90s that played for Buffalo were part of that team that went to the Super Bowl for those 4 years. I got to see them all in person right there in front of me. So that was pretty cool to see. So that was interesting. Even though it's not my team, you still respect the players. You have affection for some of these players. Oh, thanks, Fidel Torres. I appreciate that. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe, please. I appreciate it. Any day the Cowboys fire someone, I get all warm inside. I guess supposedly Troy Aikman had some things to say about it. I didn't read the article, but I guess he was obviously negative about it, which, I mean, whatever. Who cares? It's the Cowboys. I could give two shits about the Cowboys. You had your time. You're done. If you remember the Morris Viking against the Dirty Birds in the playoffs to get the Super Bowl, I kind of do and I don't. I remember him on the Vikings. I remember when he came in as a rookie. I remember the attitude he had and everything, and that's why they paired him up with Carter too, because they pretty much used Chris Carter to try and help him keep him under control. And that's what happened when he was with us too. That he was still too mouthy and he was still kind of immature. When he played here for the Patriots, he didn't live too far from. He actually lived in Lincoln, which is the fire department I was on. He lived. He had a house right in Lincoln up there. One of the small little, like, local airports, like where Learjets and Cessnas fly out of, because he used to take planes out of there all the time too. There's a section in Attleboro, Massachusetts, which is like a couple of towns over from Foxborough, where all the majority of during their Vrabel days and Tony Bruschi and all that, they all kind of live almost in the same neighborhood. And I only know that because a buddy of mine worked for UPS and used to have to deliver to that area. So he would deliver to Vrabel's house. Romeo Cornell's house was right across the street. Teddy Bruschi's house was a couple houses down. It was like all the Patriots players lived fairly close. And at one point, Brady had a house in the town that I live in now, too. I don't know if he still does. I don't really care. Anyone know Vegas odds on the next rated head coach? I don't know. I'm sure it's going to be a line on out there. I'm willing to bet. We all hate the Broncos and the Chiefs. You have no idea. But I will agree with you on another thing, Dollar Bills. I hate the Patriots just as much because I live in New England. The stadium's like 30 miles away from my house. I hate the Patriots with a goddamn passion. Now, that was even before the whole tuck rule and all that bullshit. I just don't like them. And I hate their obnoxious fans. Rams have 6 sacks already? Holy shit. I didn't think it was that many. Fuck. Oh, yeah, we also hate all the Patriots. Yeah. I'm coming to grips with Brady being part of our organization now. I know it's not the best thing in the world, but, got to deal with it. Bills will beat the Ravens, then the Chiefs. My prediction, Bills versus Lions Super Bowl. Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for. I really do. Rams TD, this game is getting out of hand. Yeah, it is. This is bad. This isn't going to end well. It's only going to get even worse as this game goes on because Donald is just, his confidence is shot. It really is. I don't see him coming back from this. Vikings gave up. Oh, they definitely gave up. Definitely. I feel like we give up. I feel like we give up every fourth quarter. It feels like it, doesn't it? It's ridiculous. 24-3 at halftime. Yeah. So let's see. Sam Donald, 13 for 16, 113 yards, an interception, and a lost fumble. Stafford, 14 for 20, 154 yards, and 2 touchdowns. I mean, he's 13 for 16. I mean, he's got a good pass-catch ratio. I'll give you that. But you automatically lose that continuity with the interception and the fumble. If you got the Bills going, who's in for the NFC? You asking me that? It's Lions and Bills is what I'm picking. Right, I've been picking that since towards the end of the season. Those are just the two teams I think that number one they match up well. It's going to be a good Super Bowl. It's not going to be a boring defensive. I like scoring, plain and simple. I want to see points. I don't think it's going to be a defensive battle where we're talking like a couple Super Bowls ago or whatever. It was like well they won like 12-6. This is going to be both teams are going to be well over 20 points, just because the offenses are both so explosive. The defenses are both good, but they have weaknesses where the offenses on both sides can exploit. I just think it's going to be a good matchup. It got the potential to be a shootout, and I also think it's going to be one of those games where whoever's got the ball last is going to win it, type of thing. It's going to come down to that. I don't think we're going to see overtime. I hope not. Although I don't mind an extended Super Bowl. Minshew who gets you take job. Yeah, fuck those guys. Everyone hates the Patriots. Oh, ain't that the truth, brother? Everybody hates the Patriots. I think even the Patriots fans hate the Patriots sometimes. You should have seen them this season in this area. Oh, good God. I thought our fans were bad sometimes. And the Patriots fans are they're just stupid. Not all of them. Some of them, a good majority of them. Yeah, maybe all of them. They just, you can tell who knows what about football and who knows football and who doesn't know football. It's just horrible around here. All I know is once the Patriots season ended after that game, the last game, as usual, they take their jerseys, they hang them up in the lot in their closet, tuck them in the back. Out comes the Boston Bruins or the Celtics jerseys. And then when February comes and pitches and catches report in Florida, oh, that's it. Red Sox stuff's out. Out goes on the baseball caps. Raider fans, 24/7 Raider gear, brothers. Everybody knows that. We sport it no matter what. Doesn't matter what time of year. I mean, Jesus Christ. I've gone to P. Bruins hockey games and I'm wearing Raider gear. I go anywhere. 90% of the time I go out, unless I'm going to like a real dressy type function, which I don't tend to go to. I've got something Raiders on. I always do. If I gotta get dressed up, I got a Raiders tie. I'll put the freaking Raiders tie. I don't give a shit. Oh, wait a minute. See, Lions are my favorite. Lions my favorite. Redskins my dark horse. See, I had Tampa Bay as my dark horse going into this weekend. But they screwed me yesterday. Oh, man, Washington, those Redskins, man, they look too damn good this year. They look way too good. Let's see. Jay, you want to come on? I can bring you on if you want, bro. I'm rooting for the Bills to go to the Super Bowl. Yeah, I'm telling you, again, I think that's the team right there. See, now this right here they're talking about, Mike McCarthy out as Cowboys, and now they got Dion's face up on here. I would not be shocked at that at all, that he goes into Dallas or is interviewed for it. I would not be surprised at all. That's fine with me. I just don't want him here, and we don't have to worry about it because the Raiders already said they had no interest in even talking to him. Which is fine with me. What do you got? Rams or Eagles next? Is that going to be in Philly? Right, it's going to be in Philly, that game, right? Ask me that again in a little bit. You know what? I'm gonna go. I would go with the Rams over the Eagles. I think I got to go that route. Still think if the Ravens can play clean football, and that team plays like they can, I wouldn't overlook them. Still a lot of offensive power. Yeah, that's gonna be a good game. I mean, the only thing I think you could really hope for that's really going to shut Baltimore down, or it also could work in their favor, is a shit ton of snow whipping through Buffalo. I don't know what the weather report is. Dollar Bills, if you're still here, what's the weather report for Buffalo this coming weekend? I'm curious on that. If they get dumped with a ton of snow, that could be an issue, but they could just do heavy running. I mean, especially with Derrick Henry. I mean, that's a no-brainer. Um, that's still going to be a good game, though. Again, we're at the point now where we're past the wild cards after tonight. The teams that really should they have made the playoffs get weeded out at this stage. So now it's the teams that really should be in it and that are really playing well, obviously, because they're the winners, plus the two teams on a bye week. Let's see. I wear my Raider hat to church every day. I usually wear something Raiders, and I still rock it. I hear you. That's why I wear sleeveless shirts. I got my whole right arm is it's all Raiders. So if I wear sleeveless shirts, I'm covered no matter what. So whether I wear a Raider hat, Raider shirt, shorts, whatever, jockstrap. Of course, I take it off inside. Well, yeah, it makes sense. Flying colors all year long. Yep, man, that's the way it is. That's the way it is. Odds. These are the odds, Arnie. So let's see. So Ben Johnson's at 150. Brian Flores at 5. Pete Carroll at 7. Cliff Kingsbury at 700. And Prime at 700. Prime shouldn't even be an option on that. Now, is this odds for Raiders for them to coach for the Raiders, or just in general getting the head coaching job? Because obviously it's for a head coaching job. Then I can see why Deion Sanders would be on there. I just don't see it being for Pups. Heck yeah, brother. Turnover free, disciplined football, all it takes. Yeah, true. You've seen it tonight. If Minnesota didn't turn the ball over, whether it be interceptions or fumbles, the score wouldn't be what it is. One was returned for a touchdown, one of the fumbles. Then they fumble it again. They turn it, the Rams get the ball in short field and they turn it into a quick touchdown. So there's 14 points right there. That 14-point swing because you can't take care of the ball on your offense. And then your confidence is shot. So that's what's happening here. This kid's confidence is getting shot right now. He just doesn't know what to do. I don't want Kingsbury, especially after he turned us down. I take that personally. I do too, But again, I mean, they're also saying that the reason he turned it down is because he knew the Raiders weren't going to be getting the player that he wanted. I mean, that's to no fault of our own. We had no shot at getting those guys. I talked about that at the very beginning of the show. That we would have had to have given up so much to get Jaden Daniels that it would have handcuffed us for future. We would have been fucked, And again, we didn't have the right pieces to protect him either, or to put around him to get the ball to. If people still think we were going to get him and still get Brock Bowers, it's not happening. So you can take Brock Bowers out of the equation. It's not like he's going to be throwing to Brock Bowers. Who's he going to throw to? Devontae Adams? What if Devontae still had a meltdown because it's a rookie quarterback and because we can't protect him, he can't get the ball to him? Now what? Now we're in the same boat. So he's going to be throwing to Jacoby Myers and Jacoby Myers only. The other two wide receivers, yeah, they're serviceable, but do you want to go into next season with those as your other two wide receivers playing opposite Jacoby Myers? I know I don't. So this is why I think people get hung up on looking at a certain player saying, especially after the year that they have in the NFL, like in this case, Jaden Daniels. Yeah, he had a great year there. I don't take anything away from him. But he wouldn't even have a fraction of the year that he's had there with us, with our current situation. If you go back to the beginning of not even the training camp, you go back to the regular season start, and it's Jaden Daniels starting. And you look at the offensive line we had out there and the running game around him and the receivers. Again, no Brock Bowers. You kiss him goodbye because we ain't drafting him because there's no way he would have gotten much further than pick number 13. I can tell you that right now. The fact that he even fell to 13 is a miracle because based on the quarterbacks, if the draft wasn't, if there weren't so many teams that needed a quarterback, Brock Bowers would have probably been a top 5 pick. Plain and simple. The first two quarterbacks would have been Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels, and then Brock Bowers would have been picked fairly early. So you wouldn't have Daniels throwing to Brock Bowers. You wouldn't have a running game behind him to help support him and keep defenses honest. They would just stack that line, dare him to throw it while they're crushing us because our offensive line wouldn't be able to hold them back. And we would have gotten him hurt. It would have been like RG3. Would have gotten hurt, never would have used him right. And this kid would have had a miserable start to his career, and you crush his confidence. This kid would have been fucked for the future. Let's see. Has Sam had a comeback this year? I don't think so. I don't think he's really had to with that offense. They just got off to such early leads early on. Can you imagine Cowboys trading the second pick for they can do what they want. I hope they do. I hope they. But it's Jerry Jones. He always does something stupid. You know that. He always pulls a bonehead move. He's like Al Davis of old. Al Davis gets his set mindset on a certain player. There's no change in his thought process. Jerry Jones is the same way. Jerry Jones took too much from what Al Davis did back in the day. And him and Al Davis were good friends. And he looks at it as I'm learning from the best by being, but by being friends with Al and following him in his footsteps. I mean, he reminds me of Al right now with the way that he's handling his team. And no disrespect to Al, that's not what I'm getting at. It's just that towards the end of Al's tenure, he didn't have the same. He wasn't the same, basically, as he was, 10, 12 years prior to, or even 5 years prior to his passing. He lost a step. His evaluation and his thought process wasn't the same. He was still totally in charge of the team. He still ultimately had the final say, and it was obvious, But Jerry Jones is kind of like in that same mold. Oh, my God. He did catch that. I thought they intercepted it again. I think that might have been the longest pass of the night for them. Let's see. Question: when or what does Tom Brady have to do to be considered a Raider, or do you already consider him a Raider? I mean, he's part owner of the team at this point, so he's got a vested interest. Somebody said this to me the other night when I was on the show. I think it was Saturday night. I was on live for like about 4 hours. Like, do you think Tom Brady's going to do something to sabotage the Raiders? No, I think it's kind of a goofy question if you think about it, because he's part owner of this team. Why would he do something to damage something that he's invested in? So he took his own money out of his own pocket or his other investments and said to Mark Davis, here's my money. I want an X amount percentage of the company or of the team. And in return, you pay me for, I make money based on how well we do. So he's not going to turn around and try and purposely sabotage the team, because guess what? He's going to lose money. So if he's got a 5% stake in a team, and the team is worth X amount of dollars, or they sell X amount of dollars in merchandise and seats, for tickets and everything else, he gets a percentage of that to make up for the 5% that he's invested money-wise. Just like if you ever watch Shark Tank, somebody comes in and they offer the Sharks, 5% for $20,000 or $200,000 stake in their business. They give you 5% of their ownership. Well, all right, so I'm going to give you, as the person walking into the Shark Tank, $200,000. You'll give me 5% ownership of that product or your business. All right, I'm getting my money back by how well your sales go and how well you move your product and everything else that goes along with it. Why is me as a shark on Shark Tank, why would I want to turn around and say, no, don't do it on the internet this way. Just don't do it. Well, I'm not selling anything. It doesn't matter. I don't care. Just don't do it. Well, then how am I going to get my money back? How am I going to make money if they're not selling product? So I think that was a silly question when somebody asked me that the other night. I'm like, did you even think about it? So, yeah, do I consider him part of the Raiders? I mean, at this point, yeah. But let's see what happens this season. Let's see how involved he is throughout the entire season now with the people that he's bringing in or having a say in bringing in this year. It's going to be interesting. There's no two ways about it. I look forward to it. Ravens will play in the snow. Yeah, that would be funny. James Cook runs like he got snowshoes on. Jerry has a man crushes with Dak. Oh, yeah, that's without a doubt. He loves Dak Prescott. That kid, I'm telling you, I don't think Dak Prescott could do anything wrong. It's bad. Why he's still on the team, I don't understand. I really don't. I can't believe that they haven't got rid of him yet, or at least offered him up to somebody. Somebody will trade for him. Someone will take him because they'll use him probably differently than they do in Dallas. But we'll see now that McCarthy's not there. It's obviously going to change. Marky Brady wants you to. I don't know, man. I'm still not sold on that one. I don't think that that's going to be the case now because I think they realize they're going to have to give up too much. It's going to strap us for too long if we do that because you're going to be giving up. You're going to be giving up possibly 2 first rounds, like this first round to swap picks, and then possibly next year's first round. That's a lot to give up for a quarterback that may or may not make it. I agree. Tom is not here for that. He wants to win. Of course, he wants to win. It's all he knows is to win. You know, that's what you want in your organization. You want someone that knows how to win, that's been part of a winning organization. You know, actually been part of 2 winning organizations, if you think about it. You know, yeah, his last year in Tampa Bay wasn't the best, you know, but they still made the playoffs. You know, he won a Super Bowl. He walked in there and won a Super Bowl because he was the final piece of the puzzle that they needed. He was done in New England at the right time for them. Walked into that situation, and boom, they won a Super Bowl. Because that team was set up. That's all he needed was him. But again, that's where your GM and your GM's office comes into play, which is why Spytech as an assistant GM in Tampa kind of makes sense because of the connection he has with Brady to begin with. It was already part of getting that team set up prior to Brady coming there. He just needed to talk to Brady about bringing him in for him to come down there. Donald's good. Yeah, dude, he's done already. There's no way Minnesota's winning this game. They're just like I said, his confidence is shot. This is going to be a tough one for him to come back from. Sam's should bet. Yeah, this is not looking good. Is this still a halftime show right now? I thought the game had already restarted. So long that's halftime. Oh, they just replaying. God damn it. I'm an idiot. Dallin just went from Purdy money to Minshew money. Yeah, it's funny. I like that. That's a good one. I would take Derek Carr over Prescott, and that's saying something. Yeah, because you know what? I wouldn't mind Carr coming back, to be honest with you, if he's put with the right coaches. The one, and I've said this before, the one thing Carr did not have when he was here is he did not have stability. You did not have stable head coaches during his tenure. We did not have stable offensive coordinators during his tenure. And the other big thing I think is the issue with this is we never drafted another quarterback other than Mariota to compete with him, to put a challenge up on him, to force him to play better, you know, to where we draft another quarterback that could challenge him in, you know, in the training camp, you know, prior to the season starting, to lay the fire under his ass to get him to play better. He knew that he never had to play above a certain level because there was no one that was going to take his job. There was nobody ever good enough to take his job in that team. Mariota was the closest, and even he wasn't that great. You know, he showed flashes, but he only got in if Carr got hurt or we were blowing out another team, which obviously didn't happen too often. You know, so we never gave him competition to play up to. You know, he could have played to a whole different level. But again, the combination of non-stable offensive coordinators, quarterback coaches, and head coaches, that has a lot to do with it too. You know, you give him sustained coaching for a long time, we're probably talking about a completely different outcome because he wasn't a bad quarterback. It's not that he was a horrible quarterback. His decisions weren't the best sometimes. You know, there were things that he did that made you scratch your head and go, "Why the fuck did he do that?" You know, one of the things he was famous for was fumbling the ball out of the back of the end zone or off the side of the end zone. You know, just overreaching sometimes. It tended to be too much. You know. Sorry, I'm getting messages from the other guys on the board trying to get a final vote on something of the merchandise that needs to be approved. Let's see. Probably going to get off in a few minutes. Let's see where we at. Yeah, Tom Brady will never be a Raider unless he wins us a Super Bowl. No, I mean that's going to be a step in the right direction. If he wins it, if he's there when we win a Super Bowl, and it's because of what he's done to help change the culture of this team and bring in the right people to do it, then by all means, that's that's definitely a way of looking at it. You know. What else we got here? Last two games, Brian Flores didn't look that good. Going to hurt his head coach status. Staff is carving them up. I don't know if he's necessarily carving them up. A lot of it is the defense just shut down Minnesota, and 14 out of those 24 points is from the defense helping them out. I mean, I'm not taking anything away from Stafford. He's still good, but I mean, you also got to look at his receivers too. Again, you look at Minnesota. Minnesota's got Jefferson. I mean, that's basically that's all you really need on that team. As long as he gets somewhat open, you get the ball to him. So, all right. Been on for an hour and a half. So, I think I'm going to get out of here. This game's a wash. I can't imagine Minnesota coming back. We had 10 minutes in the third quarter. Rams are up 24-3. It's 39 right now for the Rams. Let me see if they get this first down. If they don't get this first down, Balin. Oh my God. Cooper Kupp. This guy is unbelievable. That was a huge play. Okay, now that's what you call carving them up right there. That was a great catch, too. Falling backwards on his ass. Why can't we get players like that? It was Arnie. That was an amazing catch. So, all right, yeah, I'm gonna hop off of here. I know Leo's live right now, doing the Pro Raiders podcast. So if everybody, I'm getting off. Hop on over to his channel, watch his show. That's what I'm going to be doing. So I thank everybody for coming in here. Arnie, as usual, you're always in here asking questions, and I really, really appreciate that, brother. Appreciate everybody stopping in, adding some questions, and keeping this going. It's not always easy to sit up here and just talk, but I don't have a problem with it. So again, appreciate everything you guys do. Keep an eye out for when that link comes out for the merchandise. We'll let everybody know. So just trying to grind these hours so I can get the hours in I need. I already got the subscribers. So I still will take more though, because I need to still hit at least 1,000. But I need to, that's why I've been grinding being on as much as possible. So until next time, I'll see you all later. And don't forget Wednesday night, Raider Connection, myself, Leo, Jay, and LV Raider 10 are on 10 o'clock Eastern time, 7 o'clock Pacific. And then Thursday night, it's Raiders Coast to Coast with myself and LV Raider 10 at 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Pacific. Look LV Raider 10 on YouTube. Everybody go over there, subscribe and like his channel. Check out his content. He's got some really good stuff on there. Same thing with Leo. Same thing with Jay at Just Raiders, baby. So keep looking out for us. I'll probably be popping on during the day, during the week, at any chance I get. Like I said, I got to grind them hours, baby. And there's plenty of content to be talking about. So everybody be careful. Take care. If you're in the LA area and you're told to evacuate. I know the death toll rose pretty good again today. The winds are supposed to kick up. So everybody, all my LA my friends from LA that are out there in that vicinity, stay safe. Love you all. Take care.